Hi, this is Jamie from VAMflax, and this is my development screencast. Today I'm going to show you how I do my simple state machines. It's not really a tutorial, it's just me developing. Right, so here's the game, and let's see. So, you can fly around and do stuff and what have you, but that's not what this is about. So, I've implemented a pause mode, which works, turns the sound off and everything. What I want, though, is for a little pause menu to appear. And I've got a pause menu, which is hidden here. If we go over to it, let's have a look. Right, there it is. And it works, kind of. Still fly around, it's there all the time. You go up and down. If you press return, down there you get a little thingy. And so you can do that over and over again. So it works. It just doesn't appear, or more like it doesn't go away, it's just there all the time. So I want to write a little thing that makes it appear when you pause. So, and the other thing is, so I want it to animate on, so I'm going to animate this anchor bit. It's not really important how I've done the UI. I've used NGUI, but however you do your user interface, it's the same sort of thing, but really this is about state machines and that sort of stuff. So if I turn that thing off, I want to hook into where I pause the game. So in my core game system, I've got somewhere, on the base thing, this flow script. Let's open it. Come on. Oh, no, wait a minute. It's over there. It's not opening. What? Where are you? That's Twitter. Who are you? Hello? What? What? I saw it. It was there. Let's run that again. All going to plan, as per usual. There you are. Are you kidding me? What? What's the matter with it now? Yeah, you. Do. What about now? Wonderful. Yep. There you go. Right. Close all but that. So I've got a thing for where we pause. So this is my state machine. I'm pretty much going to write another one of these, but I'll write it from scratch so you see how I do it. While I'm playing. Right. So that's all. This is all code from my old game Chopper Mike. So I've got this thing called a game monitor script, and that's in charge of listening to things, and the flow game object is in charge of putting the game into pause or exiting or that sort of stuff. And it was in Chopper Mike, whether you were dead or you fell out of bounds, it would do all sorts of stuff. Anyway, this moves to a pause state. Cool. Now what I want, and that's the update code for the pause state, but above here, when you move to pause, this is when it switches state. When it goes to pause, I would like to, somewhere here, make pause UI appear. Something like that. There. And then when we exit it, we want to make it disappear, but we'll worry about that in a bit, because we'll need to put some extra stuff up there. Right. That's unimportant right now. We need to make a new state machine. So Unity, we need a thing to handle the thing, and I've got one for a dialogue system. Right, yeah, it's a bit like this. If we fly over to these little dudes, and yeah, don't worry about that. We walk over to these, and this thing appears. So we want this sort of thing to happen, but I'm not reusing it because it's so simple. I don't want to just have some generic thing that's awkward to manage, so it's just going to do one job. And that appears. So we want to do that sort of thing. And there it goes again. We can do the helicopters. Right. So what manages that is this dialogue system here. We're pretty much going to remake this, but you'll see how I did that. Oh, why does it not open? So it's a similar thing to this, and it's got some public doodads. Yeah, it's got a dialogue request, and that's what kicks it all off. And up here, this is the state machine, and we'll write one pretty much the same. So we need another system much like that. In here, create empty child, and F2 to rename. What do we want to call it? Pause menu system. Yeah. There you go. And that's a prefab, so I'm going to apply. So it's the same in every level, but I've only got one level. That doesn't really matter. So we want a new script. Pause menu system script. I guess. Yeah, that'll do. Buildy, buildy, buildy. Hey, it worked. That'll go on there. Cool. Yeah. So, what do we want? We want to make a system that has a few states. Let's enumerate those states. Let's call it a pause state. So it's a pause state, and the menu system as a whole. Let's see. The first thing I always do is have an invalid state. Make that 0. So what's it going to be? It's going to be not there, so hidden, and then it's going to be appearing, then it's going to be active, and then it's going to be disappearing, I guess. I don't like disappearing. I like appearing, but I don't like disappearing. Showing and hiding? Showing. Hiding. So really that should be shown. Don't care. Right, so we then need two. This is how I do my simple state machines. If they're really complicated state machines, then I'll have a state machine object, and each state would be objects, their own objects, and they'd be in charge of moving between states and doing what they do when they're in the state. But this is too simple to be messing about with that. So this whole thing is self-contained. Right, so we need a pause state. And we need a current state. And we'll equal that to pause state. Start it off as invalid. Yes. Actually, we'll put both of them. So what we also need is a next state. And we'll start both of them as invalid. They might default to that anyway, but don't care. And then I always have a state timer, so we know how long we've been in a state. We don't need to initialize that. Well, it will be anyway. So when this thing awakes, so I'll add the awake thing. I suppose it doesn't really matter. What we want is get rid of that, the current state to be invalid. So we start off in an invalid state, and we want to move to the hidden state, which is an actual proper state. Now, I don't want the start, I don't think. Doesn't do anything interesting. So, in the update, what we want to do is public, because other things are going to call this. Request pause UI. Well, actually, because it's already a pause menu system script, we could probably just request UI. That'll make it appear, but then we want to make it go away. How about request show and request request hide. Super. I don't need to do anything yet. Now, because I don't want to be messing about with fixing up all the links to game objects and scripts and what have you, I'm just going to make this have a static thingy, like a singleton doodah. This is a pause menu. Let's just copy that. So anywhere, so we have a instance. That's not how you spell that. So anywhere in the code, I can just grab this instance once this thing started up. So we should make this one of the first things to execute. So then wherever you are in the code, you can just do pause menu system script dot minstance dot show UI. Well, request show UI. It's up to the thing whether it shows it or not. Right. Okay. So that's cool. The actual state code. Yeah. Right. So I'll tell you what. I like that. So if the current state, why is it not auto-completing? If the current state doesn't equal, oh, it's auto-completing now. So if we have changed, or we want to change state, do some stuff. Otherwise, something else. Then we want to handle the updating of the actual state, and this will annoy me. I'm telling you, why is that auto-completing? What's wrong with you? Right. And then we'll put all the case things in here. Handle. So, what stuff do we want to do? If current state doesn't equal next state, well, we want to make it equal the next state, but perhaps not first. Now, what we can do is handle state exit here. So, if we're leaving a state and we want to do some code, that's the place to do that. And then you want to handle the state entry. Yeah. And we'll probably put some code in there, but not just yet. But what we do want to do, if we've changed state, we want to reset the state timer. Cool. Otherwise, we want to state timer, update the timer. So this little state timer thing, whenever we're handling the code down here, handling the state down here, state timer is how many seconds we've been in this state, which would be handy for doing the animation, what have you. Right, okay, so we start with invalid, we go to hidden, then we want to move to showing. So actually, if we just copy all these out, handle, switch, current state, really. There you go. Now this is going to annoy me because it's going to go all over the place. We'll put a default just for completeness. It doesn't do anything. Let's put a break on the end of defaults, or a rake, even though you don't have to, I guess, if it's at the end. Anyway, see, why would you do that? Yeah, that's exactly how I want it laid out. Thank you. So pretty. What I want is that there. Yeah, great. This is saving a lot of time. I also like a lot of space between things. So, when we're hidden, we handle the hidden state. We don't actually do anything in that, do we? No, we don't do anything. Or do we? Yes, we need to listen for when someone's called request show UI. What? What's the matter with that? So we need a flag. Bool request show UI. And we may as well do the hide one as well, because we're going to want that. So put that down in. So when we awake, we'll reset them. Although they'll be false anyway, I just like to do it anyhow, doesn't matter. So if that's been set, yeah, I love you. Then we want to set the next state. Pull state dot showing. So when that flag's been set, hang on a minute. So that sets that. Oh, better do hide. Right. Also, so when that's been set, if we've seen it, we're going to actually, every update we're going to blank them off. Hide. So each frame, if something requests it, it's going to what? Switch? What's going on here? What? Yeah, that's not so good. Right. Yeah, that's better. So cool. So we'll move to the showing state. So this frame will still be in the current state. So my state machines, they're always in one state for the entire frame, and then at the start of the update we do the switching, and then we do any exit code and entry code. The state timer always starts off as 0, so the first update that you do of a state, it will be 0, and otherwise the timer updates. And so we don't switch state here, we just tell the system which state we'd like to be in next frame. So we'll be in the showing state. This is almost where it gets exciting. Now what we want to do when we go to the showing state, we need to turn the dialog system thingy on. So state entry here, because it's quite empty. Oh, what have you done? What? That's not what I want. We don't want all of these. We definitely don't want all of these, but we just put them in. God. Right, so hidden on entry. In fact, if we copy this out, so this is state entry code, and if we just paste that on the end, cool, fucked it all up again. I clearly don't agree with the mono-developed people and how they'd like the code to be laid out, but it's my code. So, exit, switch, enter. I tell you what, just for completeness, it feels like we should reset the timer before we enter. Not that it's going to make any difference. So when we enter the showing, oh my god, it's done it again. When we enter the showing, we want to turn or show dialog game object, as in turn it on, because we don't want it on all the time, we'll just turn it on and off. And so we want to show it there, and when we exit the hiding one, we want to hide, properly hide, as in turn it off. That's called disable, yeah. Or set dialog geo inactive. That's more like it. Yes, active. Why don't you do that every time? Cool. So we can have that without any animation. We can just see it appear and go away if we call these things in the right place. So let's do that call before I forget. Let's save all as well, just in case. So flow So this is a similar state machine. Flow on entry. to pause, yeah, there it is, make pause UI appear. Dot m instance dot request show UI. So that'll set the flag, and then the next time it comes through, it'll see the flag and stuff like that. Now timescale is set to 0 here, so while we're in the pause state, time won't move as normal, but we can use the real-time timer to update, so we don't have to worry about that. What I do want is when you exit the pause state, we want to no, we don't worry about that. So what we want to do is something in the pause state wants to ask whether we're not paused anymore. So what we need to do to make it animate out is while it's animating, it's still going to be in the pause state. So I think this will pretty much do everything that it needs to do. So that's good. So if we go into here again, save all, we want to turn the thing on. So first of all, we need a thing to turn on. So make this one public. Public game object. Menu geo. I put geo for game objects just because I do. So doobie-doo, really set active false. That will set it inactive, and return it on. Really, because really true. Save. Now, is that going to compile? Don't know. Spinners. No, no, it's not. It's not gonna. Hey, whoa. Hidden? Ah, you really? Cool. I didn't put this in front of everything. If shut up. A moment. Yeah, really cool. Shut up. Right. Doobie-doo. Need all these on all of these. Oh, cool. Really good. Did we do it on the switch? Or we did on that one. Okay, cool. Hiding. Doop 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 doo. All of these again. Yeah. Let's see. Pause system do is assigned, but it's never used. Yeah, I go along with that. So, what we need to do then is hook up the pause menu system has a menu GO, and in my UI dialog box pause menu, it's the dialog base turns the thing on and off. If we do that, yeah, cool. So if we go back in there and drag it in here, now the best thing I ever did was move the hierarchy window from over here, which is a pain because you've got to drag things all the way over here. Woo! I put it on the right hand side of the thingy, and then you can just drag things in. Ace. Right. Save that and see what it does. There's Mike. Oh yeah. Woo! You will be able to pick up basketballs and throw them in here with a rope. That used to work, but I've got it turned off at the moment. Anyway, let's pause. Are we ready? Ah, look at that. Do works. Oh, it's working. Woo! And if I press P, yeah, because we didn't do anything to make it go away. Ooh, P. Shit. So, if option 1 is, I don't know, restart, not that there's going to be one, or maybe this goes to actual some options. If option 3 was unpause or resume game, then P would do the same thing. So when I'm doing that and it says option 3 over here, that will be calling the thing to make it go away. Which we could do, we can do that. Where's the code for that? Where even is the code for that? I think, where is it? Make it, So in option 3, I have got a menu button script. so somehow, but the thing is I've got them on all of them, so I'm going to have to mark that as, give it some sort of ID, and so that it can do things when it's clicked. Anyway, let's just make the whole thing appear. That's the idea, and I can just make P make it go away, I suppose. Yeah. Right. Okay. So it appears, but it doesn't animate on, which is, you know, the cool bit. So in showing, we want to animate that. Really? It's very annoying. Well, that's a thing. I want it to be there in the editor, but I want it to be turned off at the start. So if we just turn it off in the first, in here, I guess. False. Let's see if that does what we want. It should do. So it's there. I can see it. Play. Yes. And P. Right. Cool. Let's make it animate on. So, what do we want to animate? We want to animate the game. Yeah, there it is. This is a placeholder menu, by the way. It's not going to look like that. So we want to animate that number. So we want to animate between, well, 2 0, and then, well, I guess -1 would do. Will it do? See it? So I guess 1 is a whole screen's worth. So whoop, 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 whoop. Cool. So we'll leave it there by default. We want to animate that thing. So we want to animate the UI anchor, which is a Ngly thing. So let's put one in here. Yeah, public. This is just a simple way of hooking it up. UI anchor. Yeah, and this will be menu base anchor or something. Yep. And so if I save that, go back in there, and the dialog, no, pause menu system wants dialog base, and that's got an anchor on it, so it hooks it up to the anchor in it, which is really cool. So now that thing will be set up. This, we don't have to worry about it being null or anything. It's going to be the thing we want. So what we want to do is animate that number between, well, 0 and 1 over a certain amount of time. Cool. What we could do is make it cooler and make some public things so we can edit them. So if we have a show duration or duration and a public float. So we have the show y offset, or active, let's call it active, which is going to be 0, but we don't know. We might move it around later. And active and hidden, wasn't it? And hidden y offset. So as this state timer, when we're in the showing state, we want to animate a number, or that number, this number, from hidden, which will be -1 or something. Whoa, yeah, minus something, to 0, which will be this one. So let's do that bit of code. Doopy-doopy-doo, that's the exit, that's the entry, this is showing. Actually, when it's hidden, we want to set, where is my thing? Doop doop doop. Menu base anchor. When we are hidden, dot. Oh no, what was it called? Relative offset. Okay. Relative offset. Dot y. Yeah. Equals autocomplete. Brilliant. Hidden. Doop doop doop. Super. Cool. Why don't you indent it again? And when it's active, it always wants to be the active y offset. so that just means while it's in those states, it's definitely going to be where we want it to be. Now we want to, while we're showing it, we want to interpolate between those two. So, float. So the progress through this magnificent transition equals which one? State timer. Ooh, wait a minute. Delta time. Delta time, no good. Fixed delta time, unscaled. Delta time. So that's the one that will, I think it's new, that should work all the time. It's not based on the timescale thing that you actually, or I use to pause the physics and everything. So, yeah, that was good. Otherwise it was going to do nothing. So, progress equals state timer divided by show duration. So this is the amount of time it takes to show. This should not be a 0 because that will be bad, but we're going to set it to more than 0. So progress is that. So that should be a number between 0 and 1. If progress is greater than 1, then we've finished. So progress can be 1, and next state. Why is none of the autocomplete working? Equals full state dot active. Cool. So unless that's somehow negative, which I don't think it will be, we're between 0 and 1. Now, because this isn't exactly a performance critical piece of code, just for safety's sake and to show you a cool thing, progress equals mathf clamp 0 to 1. I use this all the time. So this now absolutely guarantees, although it pretty much was anyway, that progress will be a number between 0 and 1, which is what we want. Now we want to interpolate using that number the offset that we would like to apply. So that float offset, y offset equals, and then we can do mathf dot lerp, which is a linear int erpolation. So we want to go from to over t. So we want to go from which one? Hidden y offset to active y offset using progress as the mixer thing, and it's not auto completing anything. So this, because that was guaranteed between 0 and 1, then we're definitely going to be between these two, so we don't have to worry about the y offset. I suppose we could have put it directly into the thingy. We want to set this business. Right, so that's then going to set that. So as this goes, when this is 0, because we go into the state, it'll be 0. The whole thing will be 0, so it will go from, and then as it gets towards 1, when it gets to 1, it'll be here, and we're guaranteed to be 1 because we only go to the next state once it's greater than 1, even though we clamp it ourselves and then clamp it again, just so I wanted to show you clamp 01, and then we'll move into active, at which point the relative offset should stay at the active offset. Save all of that. Spinners. Ooh, worked first time. I'm pressing P. Well, that was fantastic, wasn't it? Did you see the way it didn't do anything? But wait a minute. We didn't set any of the numbers. Show duration. Let's do 2 seconds. And the hidden offset had to be -1, as we all remembered. Let's play that. Well, that wasn't the smoothest. I've not used that unscaled time before. Let's try that again. Peep. Oh, that was better. Whoa, something went a bit weird, but I think that was the editor actually. The VSync. It'll probably look rubbish because this is being captured at 15 frames a second. Right, so it appears and it does work. I bet it works as well while it's appearing. Let's go. Oh yeah. Whoa, they're really weird. Anyhow, that's the idea. Now, so we've got it appearing, and I wonder if it, I guess, make it appear, we unpause, it's still there, yes, we know that, but when we make it pause again, it should do that thing all over again. I guess not. Is it still, it's because it's still in the pause state. Don't worry about that. Right, okay, so the thing was, it's just linear, so it goes in a straight line, which is uncool, because if we look, fly over there, go and talk to him. When we press the button, it doesn't appear in a linear way. It's all nice and smooth, although probably on the video it's not. Doop, 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 doop. Yes, of course you did. And it goes away. Now, to make it nice and smooth, we add a curve, which is probably one of my favorite things. Public animation curve. Animation curve. So this will be the show. Yeah, we're using the word show. Show curve. Sounds exciting. And in our code, instead of just lerping between that and that, we're going to kind of rebend progress by sampling a curve. So progress equals show curve dot evaluate. Oh, yes. And you evaluate animation curves by giving them a time. But we're not going to give it a time, we're going to give progress. So it's going to be progress. So this is going to make it bendy. But it's still going to take the same amount of time because we've not changed the logic. That's still all in there. So what we need is a curve of a certain shape that just goes between 0 and 1. And that's super easy. I'll show you. So we go then back to Unity, and this is the coolest thing. And it appears show curve. So you just pick one of the preset ones, like bendy bendy, and what it should do then, as if by magic, when we press P, whoop, oh yeah, that's way too slow, but hopefully you'll see it on the... Now the thing is, we only want it to be slowed down at the end, because what we're doing there is slowing it down when it appears as well. So, well, what do we want? We just want that one, I suppose. Let's give it a go. Beep. Ooh. Yeah, that's really cool, but it's taking forever. So show duration, I normally use 0.6. Doop-a-doo. And beep. Oh, that's a bit fast. Would like to make it go away. When we press P, if it could go away, that would be great. So, doop-doop-doop-doop-doo. What makes it unpause? What makes it unpause? At the moment, let's have a look. Keycode. I think I've just done keycode.p. No, I didn't do that. How was I? Find it. So pause button, pause menu. That's not really. Ooh. Notify pause toggle. Well, we don't want to do that. We only want to do that if enabled. Hee. Alright, this is specific to my game. So just ignore this for a second. If it's enabled, that's the thing we want. Save it all. Now this should now not unpause. Wood's moving, and it's not moving. Hey, I saw it over there. Anyway, P doesn't unpause. Good, that's what we want. We want the pause menu system to make it unpause. So when hiding has finished, so exit code here, we want to set the thing inactive, and we want to game monitor script instance notify pause toggle. Yeah, that will unpause my game. However you do yours, it's not really important because all I'm doing is showing you the state code. Right, but we don't have a thing for going into hiding, so what we need to do is make a thing called request hide UI. And what we'll do is, if we click on one of those, I've got my, when you press on one of the things. Oh, really? Has that opened it? Cool. On click, it prints out the name of the thing. I'm going to make all of them close the menu system and pause menu system script menu button on click dot m instance dot request hide UI. Cool. I mean, what you could do is then put like a reason, so it could be unpause or exit or restart, but all I'm doing is unpausing for the minute. So we'll request that, and that will do not much at the moment. That'll set this flag. So much like the other thing, when we were hidden, if request show UI, do that. When we're active, we're setting the thing. We want to say if that flag's been set. We want to do pretty much the same thing, but we want to be hiding. That's going to mess all that up. Hiding? Yeah, hiding. Every time I paste, it re-indents the line when I'm in a case. Never mind. So, we will now be hiding. Hiding doesn't do anything, but it's going to do the opposite of this. So, oh my god, I'm going to go insane. So, progress is that, and if it's the thing with this, we want to do it around the other way. Or do we want to do it around the other way? No, we don't want to do it. We do the exact same thing, only we want to use a different curve. Is that right? Yeah. So we want a hide curve. So this curve has to be kind of upside down. Well, we want a different, and also we'll have a hide duration because I like things to hide faster than they get shown. That's all cool. So we want a hide duration and a hide curve. Boop. Show curve. Hide curve. And show duration. Hide duration. Cool. And what we want to do is, yeah, pretty much that. And then when it's finished hiding, it wants to, doesn't want to go to active, it wants to go to hidden. Hidden. Hiding, hidden. And when we enter, that's it, cool. So when we exit hiding, we do this stuff. What we could do is, no, we do want to leave that there. Forget that. Cool, that's good. What have we got? Will that work? Maybe. Let's see if it compiles for a start. Spinners. Look at that, thing's gone because I'm actually using it now. What we do want to do though is set up the hide duration, 0.3, make it twice as fast, half as slow. Now, if we used that one for, we want it to start at 1. Do we want to start it at 1? We want it to be the opposite of this, do we? Don't we? We want it to, yeah, yeah, no. What we want is it for it to be, why don't we make the number go around the other way? That's a better thing, then we can use the exact same curve. So we put the same curve on, that one? Yep. And we'll just reverse the thingy. We want to reverse, so that's the logic bit. So it goes from 0 to 1, but now we want to swap it round. Hide curve, evaluate, want to swap it here. Then we want to clamp it, so that makes sure it's between 0 and 1 afterwards. Let's, really? We're going to clamp it. Again, this is non-performance critical code, so I don't care if I'm doing 2 clamps per frame in my state code. This just ensures everything is as we expect it at the end. So if we save and go into Unity, spinning, everything's sort of set up. What's gonna happen? Here we are. Hello, Mike. Whoop. Oh no, it's not P. It's whoop. Ha 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 ha. And we can do it again. Oh yes. So if we put this to the side, oof. Now this is our magical floating UI. We'll click in there. Let me press P. Boop. Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. And we select and make it go away. If I fly over there, here he is. He should just be over by those trees. Right. Now the thing is, when I press P, boop, I saw it appearing in the background. I'm sure I did. Make it go away. How about if we fly up? Right. So whoa, whoa now. Why is that there? It's in there 2 times. Now, I think that's to do with NGUI and thingy masks, the layer masks for the stuff. It's on my pause menu. Oh, it's on UI. The UI camera, UI. Oh, the game camera. Where's that? Ooh. Doop 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 doop. There's the camera. Camera system. Depth of field camera. Main camera. Culling mask. No, UI. Haha. Of course it'll forget that, but we can now turn the UI off. Yes. So, bear with me a moment. Right, so now when we pause it, we should, yes, it's only in the UI camera now. Cool. Let's put this back over there, please. Cool. And click in it. And there you go. Fantastic. And that's my state system. Whoop. Whoop. So should we just have a look over the code again? So what happens is we have a little enum with our states and one that we never want to be in. Then we, on awake, we still set it to be invalid and we say hidden. And then every update, that happens every time it renders the game, we say if they're not the same, then we'll do a switch, which is in this bit here. Otherwise, we'll update the state timer so we know how long we've been in the thing. If we're switching, we handle the current state, which we only do one here, but all of the states have one go at sort of closing themselves off, or it's generally just managing other things like turning this dude off. Then we swap states, reset the timer, and then the current state is now the new one, so we never actually use next state for anything other than testing that we want to change and then actually doing the change. And then every frame we just switch on the current state and run our code, which in the active and hidden is just waiting for a flag. When it gets that flag, it tells us to go to the next state on the next frame, and then we do a bit of checking a timer, and when that times out we go to the next state in the chain, and that's pretty much it. These request flags have to be reset every frame. So if you were in the hiding state, say, and something did a request show UI, then it would go through one thing that doesn't get checked in this frame, so it would then get reset, so it would be ignored. So the request things, you have to be a little bit clever about calling them when you're in the right state. But you call the request. What I like is the external things aren't actually making it do something, they're just requesting, and it itself is the sort of clever bit. It knows more about itself than outside things. But yeah, there you go. So that's my video. I'll probably do another one.